Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Imran Khan and the Board of Governors of the Imran Khan Cancer Appeal, it's my privilege to welcome you here this evening. We are indebted to you for making this occasion such a success. We are extremely fortunate that we have amongst us Mr. Amitabh Bachchan. He needs no introduction. He's a giant. He's a giant of the Indian screen. He's known throughout the world. And I don't have to tell you anything about him as far as his competence, ability, and achievements in the sphere of movies and the screen is concerned, but I would certainly like to emphasize his great qualities as a human being. Here is somebody who cares, he's concerned, he worries about people, and that is the reason why he's here this evening amongst us, to help this great cause, the Cancer Hospital in Lahore. We have amongst us the great Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan. Now he's another guy who needs no introduction at all. His name will go as long as music lasts, and I'm sure it's going to last till the Day of Judgment. The tunes may be slightly different for most of us, but I'm sure music will be there. And we're going to say more about him when we introduce him formally, when he takes over the evening. We are extremely privileged that we have Mick Jagger, we have Jerry Hall, we have Marie Helwin, we have Trudy Steiner, we have Art Malik, and a host of other people. It's very, very difficult to mention everybody, but we'd just like to tell you how delighted we are that you are amongst us. I would now request Imran Khan. He is the guy who made everything possible. It was his idea. We thought we made it when he got the World Cup for us, but it appears we are just beginning, and therefore now I would request Imran Khan to give you an idea of the progress we made. Mr. Imran Khan.
Ladies and gentlemen, throughout my 21-year cricket career, I came across three types of players. The first type was the type of cricketer, when he got selected in the team, he was bemused. He didn't know what he was doing. He didn't know why he was in the team. God had gifted him with talent, but he always never quite understood what he was doing in the team. And normally they never lasted long. The second type of cricketers, which over my career I remember, were the ones who played for themselves. You know, they were talented cricketers. They played for their own averages. They played for the bowlers only wanted to know how many wickets they got. The team did not matter that much. And the third type of cricketers were the ones who were team players. The players who actually, when the team was in trouble, these players were always there to help you. When the chips were down, you knew that these were the players to rely on. We've got one such player here, Asif Iqbal. Sadly, when Asif Iqbal was playing in the 70s, we had probably the best batting lineup in the world. We had an array of stars. We had some of the best batsmen in the world, yet we never won anything. The reason was that everyone played for himself. There was never, ever a concerted team effort. In the 80s, we did not have that much of a talent, but we won a lot of matches. The team that won the World Cup, it had talent, but hardly any experience. They were young cricketers. They were motivated by playing for the team. They were team players. When I stopped playing cricket and or when I was still playing cricket and started my fundraising, I discovered that in the world too, there are the three types of people who exist. One are the type who don't know what they're doing on this earth. They know they are born, they are here, but they never have a purpose in life. In Urdu, the wonderful line that din hua, raat hui, यूं ही zindagi tamam hui. Meaning that there's never any purpose to their existence. The second type of people who I came across during my fundraising were the ones who all who want to do is to make money for themselves, make more and more money, and more is never enough. I mean, when there's one house, there has to be two, or there has to be one in south of France and so on. I mean, there's never ever, I find that they never actually understand when they've got enough. And they basically look at themselves, they live for themselves, and they don't care. I mean, the Art Malik is here. I think that film was excellent, City of Joy, where actually in that film, we saw this, this wonderful scene where the rich people actually had built this wall. The idea was that this wall between him and the poor people, because they didn't want to know that the poor people existed. And sadly, that's what I discovered. When I started my fundraising, I expected that, all the people some of the people who went to school with me, extremely rich, I thought I would be able to get a lot of money from them. But when I actually went to them, I mean, I never forget in Lahore, we had this event where we had a 2,000 rupees ticket, which most people can afford. And Nusrat Fateh Ali, who's here, he was performing there. And I found that some of the richest people came on complimentary tickets. And some of the poorest people, the chauffeur who drove me there, he actually paid and went in. And that was sort of the beginning. I mean, it was a sort of, for me, it was a discovery in life that I suddenly realized that money has nothing to do with the richness. And that is exactly what the third type of people, I think, exist in this world, people who actually are rich from inside, who actually live for other people. And my whole idea of telling you this is that in Pakistan, where we have so much talent, I mean, we have, in cricket, if you see, we have no cricket structure. Really, it is the only country in the world where under 19 cricketers jump straight into test teams. It never happens anywhere in the world. There is actually no first-class cricket structure. We have club cricketers. Wasim Akram, for instance, was a club cricketer. Club cricketer who came to give the regular test team some practice. And we all discovered that he was better than the bowlers we had selected. And that's because he had never played first-class cricket. So from club cricket, he jumped straight into test cricket. There are about 4 cricketers who from under 19 jumped into test cricket. Now, there is no structure, yet we have that talent. In squash, in Oxford, where I studied, there were more squash courts than the whole of Pakistan. And yet we have Jahangir and Jan Sher Khan. In bridge, we have Zia Mahmood. There's hardly any bridge, and Zia Mahmood, arguably one of the best bridge players in the world. And of course, scientists like Abdus Salam, Nobel Prize winner. So we have the talent. There's no teamwork. We have actually a situation in Pakistan where there's incredible wealth, and there is not one cancer hospital. The statistics, which I just want you to know, and some of you will really be amazed, that so far, all the facilities available in Pakistan, only about 20,000 people can be treated for cancer in the whole of the country. According to our estimate, we thought that we had a research done, and it was very difficult because there's no data available. But according to that, we estimated there were some 200,000 cases of cancer in Pakistan. But Dr. Amanullah, who is an oncologist in America, he is doing cancer research in Pakistan. According to him, there are 700,000 cases of cancer a year. So now if you estimate that there are only 15 to 20,000 people in the whole of the country that can be treated, so you yourself will realize the situation we are in. And sadly, the people who can afford to give money, who can build cancer hospitals, don't want to know. It's like, they build this wall around them that, if something happens to them, they can take a flight out. And yet, no one ever thinks what's going to happen to those people, thousands of people who are just stuck every year. And that's why I'm just going to show you some slides here, mainly our hospital, how far it's got to, but also some of the figures you will see. You yourself will realize why we need a cancer hospital, because often people keep telling me that, look, why aren't you doing something else? Does a poor country like Pakistan need a cancer hospital? You won't believe this is the biggest criticism of the project so far is that do we need a cancer hospital? And there are 700,000 cases of cancer. What do these people do? What are they supposed to do? So, ladies and gentlemen, I really want you, firstly, to thank you, thank you very much for coming here. I know in a recession, £100 was a lot of money. Thanks to Amitabh Bachchan, thanks to Mick Jagger, other celebrities, Jerry Hall, Marie Helvin, thanks to them that you've come. But really, it's gone a long way in helping us. And I'm just going to give you some of the statistics where we've got to. And especially there's some of the people who've been coming here every year. And I really want to thank you and also show you that from the time when it was just a concept to where we've got to now. So I'm just going to show a few slides. This is just to let you know that in the whole of Pakistan, 120 million people, there's not one cancer institution. The total number of medical oncologists in Pakistan are 3. Senior radiation therapists, 12. So, just so that you have an idea, this facility is at the moment available. According to our estimates, breast cancer, by the way, is one of the biggest killers amongst women in our country right now. And what we can't seem to understand is that why women in our country get breast cancer 10 years earlier than the world average. And incidentally, that's what our research center, that's why we hope that once the research starts, we'll be able to answer these questions. This is it. These are the statistics taken really from America, where this is what's estimated, that 3 out of 4 families will suffer from cancer. And these are the available facilities in Pakistan. This you can't really see much, which is a good thing. It just shows that the cancer in Pakistan, by the time the patients get to the hospital, it's too late. There are no diagnostic centers there. So people actually, cancer cannot be diagnosed early enough. And as most of you may or may not know, cancer is a disease that the earlier you detect it, the more chance you have of containing it or even curing it now. These are just now, when we set up this project, first the idea was to have professionals helping them, because whereas I could have built a cricket school, hospital was beyond me. So we got the 3 people who are very important. This is Babar Ali, Razak Daud, Pervez Hassan. All these 3, the best so far educational institution in Pakistan is the Lahore Business School. And these people were the masterminds behind it. So I asked them and got them on our board, and they've really been advising me. This is a committee of doctors. Because we have so little knowledge of cancer in Pakistan, these are Pakistani doctors, well, the top 2 are Pakistani doctors in America, and then the rest we recruited sort of cancer specialists doing research in third world countries. Dr. Tausif Ahmed, by the way, has done innovations in bone marrow transplant in New York, and he is also advising us. So these people are advising us how to proceed. These are just the architects. We have collaborated with a foreign American firm. Nair Ali Dada is the best, arguably the best Pakistani architect. And our auditors are Ferguson's, the most reputable firm, so that everything is above board. And Hassan are the legal advisors. We've collaborated. We are with Kentucky University Medical Center. The idea is that we will be able to exchange know-how, technical backup, all sorts of management facilities with them. and also, of course, research. This, of course, this is not really praying for the worst. This was the opening, this was the stone laying ceremony of the hospital, and this was in May last year. I know our Prime Minister is in a lot of trouble these days, and we are not really praying for that. Anyway, this was when we did the stone laying in May last year. This is the model of the hospital. The first phase, this is what it's going to look like. The work started in August last year. The actual construction started. And I just want you to see for yourself as the construction has been progressing. Because a lot of people, there was a lot of doubt in Pakistan. People, you know, I renovated my house and everyone thought that all the money was going to my house. So, you know, I just want to visually you to see that actually some work is being done. This is the most important part of the hospital is the basement because of the nuclear medicine, the radiation department in the hospital. So this is the basement, which is a huge area. And the school children you see here, they are very important to our campaign because, you know, we reached a stage in this project when suddenly, after 1.5 years, we didn't know where to get the next rupee from. All sorts of donations began to dry up. No one was, you know, I used to go to people and, you know, most of the time they would sort of say, listen, we are not in or something. When we had a function, people would say the ticket prices were too high. So really we were struggling at this stage. Someone came up with the ingenious idea that why don't you involve the school children? And from the time, in 6 weeks, I went to a lot of schools. I asked them to become my fundraisers. And in 6 weeks, the children raised $1.5 million. I think most of you might have been affected by them because they stopped people in the streets, they're on the traffic lights and shops. They used to knock at people's houses, and they collected $1.5 million. And they are very much part of our campaign. We encourage them. These are schools. The schools actually now come to the hospital site to see the progress. This is the basement again, which was, you know, a lot of our work went into that. This is coming up. This is sort of evolving over the time. My pride and my joy. Oh. This is sort of a wider view of the whole thing. As you can see, fair amount of work has gone into this. And this, considering that it only started August last year, I mean, you can't even build a cotton textile factory that quickly, you know, as quickly as we are going. It's a little blurred, but it, you know, shows it's sort of another stage. Now, this is the model from the front, and this is where we've got to. Lights. Ladies and gentlemen, I would just like to ask you to keep supporting it. We are in a vital stage of the hospital right now. We've raised $10 million so far. We have another $13 million to go by next September. Fortunately, the money is coming in much easier because people, they see the project, they see the work being done. Also, I think that it's at a stage now where most people now believe that this will happen. And in fact, it will happen now because once we've raised $10 million, we are in the process of securing this soft loan, which will take care of the equipment. The equipment cost of a cancer hospital is in fact why we do not have cancer hospitals in Pakistan, because it's crippling. $13 million, $10 million is just the cost of the equipment. And therefore, you know, the private enterprise doesn't come into this institution because the running costs are very high. So what I would like to do is just ask you for your continuous support. We will keep you updated with the project. You can see for yourself what is happening, but we would like you to support it. Not be like those people who, you know, just do not want to know what is happening to the poor people in our country. You know, I would like you to consider that there are people there who cannot help themselves. You know, if God has given you money or someone else honor or something, it puts a responsibility on us to take care of the people who cannot compete in the race. Because, you know, you should see life as a race. Some people are gifted, others aren't, and some people cannot complete the race. And sadly in our country, the majority of the people are left behind and no one cares about them. And this hospital, the biggest aim of this hospital is that when any poor man walks in, we will treat him free. This is not a political slogan. I'm not entering politics. I really mean it. That, you know, the thing is, in Pakistan, we can do it because people want to pay zakat. Zakat for the non-Muslims who don't understand what zakat is, every Muslim is supposed to pay a percentage of his earning every year towards the poor people. And once people have confidence that the money they are paying is actually going to help the poor people, we have seen with our own experience with Maulana Abdul Sattar Eidi that people do come forward and pay. So we are going to set up a zakat fund. It'll be an open audit. Anyone can say, okay, we want these 3 patients treated, or they can say, you know, 1 patient treated, or they can ask, where is our money going? So that people have confidence that whatever money they give in the zakat fund is actually going into the zakat treatment of poor people. So that's how we hope to treat the poor people free. Well, thank you very much. I would just like to thank a few people here. Amitabh Bachchan, Mr. Risaluddin said a lot about him. I would just like to say that we had heard a lot about him. I had heard a lot about him. I'd seen his films, you know, especially in my younger days. And now that now I find I'm looking as old as him. It's the stress of cricket, you know. Acting probably would have been an easier profession. But I would really like to thank him. I met him once, and he very kindly, first time, agreed to come and help us. And really, I'm overwhelmed. Anytime I can help any cause of yours, I would be most willing to help. And I hope that you know, the tension we have between the two communities can be reduced by, you know, us working together. Mick Jagger, I would like to thank very much. Especially because he always helps me with my speeches. He realizes I'm not very good at it. Jerry Hall and Marie Helvin, especially thank you. Because the two of them actually have been our greatest supporters. They've come. I remember the first time we had a function at the Natural History Museum, everything went wrong. I mean, everything. The sound system failed. The auction, the people who wanted to give money sadly were sitting too far back, so they were putting up their hands, we couldn't hear them or see them, so the result, it was a disaster. But the only redeeming feature was that Marie and Jerry stayed right to the end and, you know, really made an effort, so I'm really grateful. What we would really like you to do is now that you're seeing the project come up, when it's complete, please come and have a look in Pakistan. And Trudy, thank you very much for coming, because most of you might not realize Trudy is Sting's wife. And Sting, as you know, has done so much work. I mean, he really is a team player. He is someone who cares what happens in the world. You know, he could easily be sitting and making a lot of money, you know, not bothering, but he actually cares. He's done a lot for the rainforests, and really, I respect him deeply. I would like to thank the ace, Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan, who has specially come. He's, as you know, he's a professor in music in Washington University. He's specially come for this show, and he's always helped us. In fact, and I think he's going to help us until we raise the necessary money. Thank you very much. And finally, I would just like to thank a lot of team players here who've done a lot to make this evening a success. There have been people like Imran Chowdhury who's come all the way from Saudi Arabia to support it. There's Saeed Chowdhury, there's Akram, there's Saeed Mehdi who drove me last night. By the way, I arrived last night from finishing the function. Mobeen, who drove me all the way from, where was it? Middlesbrough, where we were having a function. So at 3 a.m., he was driving too slowly. I took up the car trying to get here quickly, got stopped on the motorway at 3 a.m. and is done for speeding. But really, I want to thank him for bringing me here. There's Azim Fancy who's come from Canada. Thank you very much. And you know, I really want to thank anyone I've forgotten. Please remember that I appreciate the work you've done. Thank you very much. There's, of course, Zamir Heather. And thank you, Anwar Saeed, I've said already. Shaukat Aziz, particularly because, you know, we were in a panic. By the way, I just want to apologize a little bit. I know that things haven't gone very well. Some of you have been, you know, shoved around a bit because the table situation was bad. But, you know, I have to tell you, next year when we have a dinner, please, when we tell you that we are having a dinner, book your tables. Because, you know, last week, there were only 20 tables sold. And we were thinking of canceling the dinner. So, you know, and suddenly, today and yesterday, I mean, we don't know, you know, every time we pick up a phone, there's someone wanting a table. So please just book a little bit in advance, because you know you're giving to a charity. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. I would like Mr. Risaluddin to again introduce Amitabh Bachchan. Thank you.